Hi everyone, and welcome to another segment of AstrologyAnswers.com's weekly horoscope. My name is Terence Scardino. This is a very important week as there's going to be a full moon that will bring a lot of emotional matters to a head and a culmination that's aligning with the Neptune-Saturn square. And this is technically beginning this week. But we started to see the effects of the Neptune-Saturn square with a tragic terrorist attack in Paris. You see, Saturn represents the old establishment, government, regulations, the economy. About every 9 years, Saturn is in conflict or in confrontation with the planetary energies of Neptune. Neptune is deceptive, it's confusing, it triggers a lot of the Saturn-Neptune can trigger a lot of anxiety and fear. But the solution is to face your fears, face what you're into denial about, putting off, and become stronger for it. This happens about every 9 years. You may want to look back to see what was going on in your life in 2007. But let's start on a lighter note. On Monday, social creative Venus is being triggered by Uranus. This can bring new creative ideas, socializing, connecting to a new group, as Mars, ambitious Mars, is positive with Saturn, helping us be more productive, get a lot of work done. And with the Venus-Uranus, you're having a good time, but it could be much more favorable for any kind of creative projects and where you need the discipline to accomplish your tasks. As we get to Tuesday into Wednesday, communication Mercury is going to start aligning with the Saturn and in a 90-degree angle to the Neptune. The Sun will be doing the same thing on Sunday. The Mercury is to the Saturn, could be a time when we're really worried, where we're feeling like we have to make some very critical decisions. But it's a difficult angle to Neptune. We may be inclined to avoid it. We do not want to have to face the harsh realities. But this is a time with Mercury to Saturn to keep it real. And you might be feeling the anxiety, but it's an important time to just stay grounded and check all your work. Check all your communications so you're not making any kind of mistakes or there's not any misunderstandings. Because the Mercury-Saturn can also be blocked communications. So it's really not a great week to be beginning a new project, investing in business, starting a new job. On Wednesday, the full moon in Gemini. Now, the full moon is always a time of emotional reactiveness and culmination of events. Depending on where Gemini falls in your chart and if it triggers any planet, will determine how much you're being affected. But this full moon in Gemini, Gemini is opposite the Saturn in Sagittarius and forming the 90-degree angle to Neptune in Pisces. So the full moon starting strong by Wednesday. You'll be feeling it Tuesday, strong by Wednesday, certainly going into Thursday and Friday. It's really triggering a lot of anxiety about the future. It is often a time when you're going to see the stock market, being dropping because maybe not during that week, but I've often seen when there are these very stressful planetary events, the stock market, which is very much influenced by the psychology of the masses, you'll see a disturbance and a drop in the stock market. But generally, the Saturn Neptune can bring up a fear of economics. Actually, the last time Saturn and Neptune were in this hard angle in 2007, I remember that there was, because the big stock market crash happened in 2008, but there was a lot of warnings and a lot of rumblings that the mortgage business was going way out of control. The stock market was at an all-time high, and a lot of people were fearing the worst. On Thursday is technically the exact peak of the Saturn-Neptune square, or the 90-degree angle. But this is only really setting the stage that's been building for the past couple of weeks with all the fear gripping the world. Actually, the stock market had some major losses earlier this month. The Saturn-Neptune will be exact again in June 2016 and one last hit in September of 2016. Now, if you have planets close to the degrees that Saturn and Neptune will be squaring in the sign of Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces. But they need to be very close to either 7 degrees, 12 degrees, 10 degrees. Now, I know this is all sounding heavy, but this is actually, we want to look to the gift. What is the lesson to be learned? And it's not to run away from reality, not to put our head in the sands when we're feeling a lot of anxiety and fear. This is a time to really strengthen our confidence by facing our fears and pushing through them. On Sunday, the sun is putting an exact spotlight on that Saturn-Neptune square. So this is an excellent month to start looking within. This good for your spiritual practices. And it's a good time for a lot of soul searching. And what are you afraid of? And push through it. And it's going to be triggering a cycle through 2016. Now, as I've been mentioning before I sign off, that I answer individual questions for a nominal fee on Astrology Answers. You can see a direct link at the YouTube channel. But I encourage you, when you request my services to answer your question, that you put in your exact time of birth, and you may want to even repeat it in the message. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you next week for my next segment. Until then, stay strong. We'll all get through this.